Yo, all right, we are back with another video. So today we're going to be talking about corporations can stop world hunger. So this is going to be just like a general kind of, we'll be bashing on some people in power technically, but more specifically the corporations. So I actually said this to someone recently and they were like, oh, well, it's not the corporation's job to feed these people. But the thing is that you have to understand is once you are, and this is just going back to like when I was talking about life is unfair, right? Like there's always going to be those at the top and those at the bottom, and the ones at the bottom are the ones who have to suffer the most because they're the weakest, right? The problem with our system though, like the modern system, and I'm advocating technically, yes. We can make society better for a lot of people, I think, if the people who are at the top weren't so greedy. But do they have an obligation to do that? Clearly not. No one's holding them accountable anyways. No one even thinks about it for some reason. They don't critically think. But what I mean by this is, yeah, so like the people at the top, if we structured, so the way our world and our society is structured, it's structured for profit, right? It's to make the most money, to get me ahead, me, you know, the corporations, people in power, politicians getting, 10xing their wealth in a matter of a couple of years while being a politician, when the politicians should be there for the people, right? That's the whole point of being a politician, is to advocate for the people that you're representing, right? And to make your society better, you would think, because they're a public servant, right? Just like the police and et cetera, et cetera. Their whole reason for getting into office as a politician or whatnot should be to help the people, right? Now, I would argue that's also for what the corporations should be doing, the big businesses, because they're backed by big banks and big money and all that other type stuff. They should also be representing, not necessarily representing the people, but they should, yes, okay, you're in a business, you need to make money, you got to make a living like anyone else, but your main focus shouldn't be only profits, essentially, right? And that's really the reality of the situation. I know a lot of them try to be like, oh, we're doing charities, but then these charities are like super sketch and the people just pocket the money anyways, right? So it's like a big, I don't know if it's money laundering whole situation, but basically it's like circulating money into like the people's hands who are already in power anyways, and they just keep doing it, but then they're acting like they're giving to charity, right? They're not actually. So, but what I mean by this is if we structured the world, we hyper focus on profits, right? We don't hyper focus on making the world better and better for people and for people all around the world, right? So for example, like people in Africa, people in India, there's a lot of poverty-stricken areas. Obviously there's poverty in Europe, America, South America, Central America, East Asia, Southeast Asia, Australia, right? Obviously there's some poverty everywhere, but the main places that I'm talking about in particular are like Africa and India. Does that mean that it's necessarily their responsibility to do it? I would say so, because of the way the system is structured. There's money, and once you're like big money and you control everything, you buy everything, monopolize it, right? You have connections, people, friends, they can like lock out people from being able to rise up from poverty. And a lot of people will just never be able to because of, like I said, life isn't fair, and they're just have low IQ, or they're not hardworking enough or whatever, even though naturally you're not supposed to be hardworking, right? Like no animal is hardworking. They don't go to the gym, they don't work out, they don't have a job, right? So it's all a part of the system in general. But corporations don't maximize for taking care of the people, neither does the government, right? So I guess this is kind of like not just like a corporations like can cure world hunger, but corporations, government, big money, big banks, like all of them, celebrities and all that, like none of them actually care. And I think that they try to act like it, and they have this mask, right, that they do care. But if you critically think, and like it's always like how it is, right? Look at their actions, right? You look at the actions, not by what people say. But people are really good at fooling people, right? So a lot of people don't critically think in general. So but yeah, I think that if the world was structured more to where we had food available for more countries and people around the world, and corporations and big money, rich people, banks, like, and I'm talking about like rich, like real rich, like old rich, you know what I mean? Like those people could restructure the world to where it's better for people, but they don't want that, right? They want you to stay like sick. They want you to not be able to do as much, right? That's kind of like the whole point of this system, right? Is to not allow you to, because think about it this way, the people who are at the top, they don't want you to be at the top, right? They're at the top, they want to stay at the top. Why would they, and their friends want to stay at the top, the family, why would they want you to be at the top? They don't know you, they don't owe anything to you, you're not in any way related to them. Why would they want? All right, so I think my time here is almost about done. We got, I'm getting a little toasty out here. That's the thing too, is like when you come out here to the park and you do these videos, you actually get pretty toasty pretty quick, so. But, yeah, like I was saying, they don't want you at the top, right? They're at the top. Why would, like if a lion is the, I don't know, head of his pride, he has all of the lionesses that he gets to be with, and he has like all of his land and things like this. Why would he share that or split that, right? Why is this guy walking back? But yeah, they're not gonna allow you to be at the top specifically, right? So if it doesn't make sense, like if a lion is the top lion, he's not just gonna give that up because he's the top, right? Like any animal that's at the top and they have like strength in order to defend themselves properly, why would they just randomly give up that strength to someone else or some other animal in order to allow them to be stronger than they are, right? It doesn't make any sense. So that's why I was saying that the people who are already at the top, they don't actually care about you, and they don't want you to succeed, or people around the world that they don't know. Like, why would they, just think about it logically, like why would they care, right? Why would they care about you or the poor people who are in poverty? They, like, are they supposed to feel bad? I mean, maybe some of them do, and maybe they just don't want to do something about it or whatnot because they have the resources to do it, right? Like, so, and that's the kind of question too, is like, do they really feel like that bad about it? Because if they felt like really that bad about it, wouldn't they do something about it? So anyways, I think, I don't have all the numbers, but if you look at like the billions and trillions of dollars that people around the world do have, who are like the big corporations, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, whatever, they have their own agenda and something that they push onto the populace themselves. They don't have something that their intentions aren't for the good of all people, right? And even if they sort of did want to do something like that, who's to say that what they're deciding is what's best for everyone, right? Like, so, and that's I guess kind of part of the issue, is like, who decides what is the best? I guess maybe that's the problem. But I think we could all be honest that if we can at least stop world hunger and like maybe having like clean water for people, which is what they've been talking about doing in Africa for how long, and they still haven't done it, right? So I think if we could just do these like simple things, I think we could all agree that that's like good for people, right? Like, people should feel safe, they should have food, you know, they shouldn't be starving, right? So, but anyways, I'm gonna kind of wrap this up here. Appreciate you guys chilling with me on the channel, and we're like right next to the road now because I'm getting ready to walk out of here. So I will see you guys in the next one, and yeah, make sure you guys critically think about life, and don't just be another NPC robot. Peace.